Hi book lovers, it's Jenny at Julia Baby Jen, and today I am doing the Try a Chapter tag. Okay, so today is Saturday, March 4th. I did not do a Friday Reads this week. This is kind of my Friday Reads, although I'm reading other books too. I was really busy last night, so couldn't record, and then I knew I wanted to do this weekend, so this is in place of my Friday Reads, basically. And I thought this would be really fun. Basically, for this tag, you pick 5 books that you might want to read next, and you read the first chapter out of each of them, and then you decide which book you're going to read next. And then the other books, if you want to read them soonish, or if you're going to read them later, kind of helps you narrow down your TBR a little bit, I guess, is the idea of it. These are all library books, and I do hope to actually read all of these this month. But I didn't know which one I wanted to read first, so I thought this tag would be really fun. So I have Glitter by April Lynn Pike. This caught my eye at the library, and this is a modern day or futuristic world in Versailles, Paris, and it's kind of a dystopian setting. The people who actually live in the palace have all the power and prestige and are very rich, and they treat Versailles like the 17 or 1800s. They dress in that fashion and they live life just like that, although there is technology. There's quite a bit of technology because this is futuristic. The main character is betrothed to the king. Her mother kind of wormed her way into society through bribes and favors, and she's actually from the outside of the palace. People are very poor, and they live like you and me do, and dress normal fashion and live life normally, but they're very poor. What this book is about. Then I have The Lie Tree by Frances Hardinge, who I saw this recommended on BookTube, and my library had it, so I wanted to read it. It's a fantasy story, I think, or maybe magical realism about this tree that will tell you the truth, or tell you a secret, but first you have to tell a lie to get the secret. And so it's about this girl who's fascinated with this tree. I don't really know much more than that about this book. Then I have Frog Kisser by Garth Nix. This just came out, and I saw it on Goodreads and thought, oh, this looks good. And this is supposed to be kind of retelling of The Frog and the Prince, I believe. I have To Capture What We Cannot Keep, Beatrice Collin, and this, I needed a book for my 4 Seasons challenge. I needed a winter book that takes place in Paris, and this one fits the bill. It's a new release, and it's like a historical fiction romance type thing, and it centers around the building of the Eiffel Tower. So this looks really interesting. The Edge of Everything by Jeff Giles, and I don't know a lot about this, except I think it's kind of a fantasy, and it has something to do with death and grim reapers or something like that, and I do know it says this on the pages, so I think that's kind of cool. I've heard a lot of buzz about this book, so interested in this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now go and read a chapter out of each, and then I'll come back and I will decide what I want to read next. Okay, so I've just finished my first book for the Try a Chapter tag. I just finished Frog Kisser. I read the prologue, which is a few pages, and then I read the first chapter. And so far this is really, really cute. I'm really liking it. So basically what's happened so far in this book is we've been introduced to the 2 princesses, their peril situation because their stepfather, the Duke, is very evil and a sorcerer, and the older sister, who is destined to become a queen, is dating this prince, and somehow something happened. The Duke got offended or something and turned the prince into a frog, and the frog jumped into the moat. So Anya, who is the main character in this, is going to go on a quest to find this frog, bring it back to her sister so she can kiss it, and turn the frog back into a prince. So that's basically all that's happened so far, but it's really cute, very funny, very imaginative, kind of quirky. I'm really liking it so far. Alright, I just finished my first chapter of The Lie Tree, and I'm kind of confused on what's going on so far. It's kind of setting up the story, but it's a little bit confusing. All I know is that there's so far some kind of big mystery, and I've learned a little bit about the main character Faith, but not a lot. Learned a little bit about her family, They're headed somewhere unexpected to leave behind some gossip that's in their place in Kent. So her father's a reverend and he did something, we don't know what yet. So it's a little confusing, but it's kind of interesting. I guess it was okay for a first chapter. I'm not sure if I really want to read this one right now after I've read that first chapter, but we'll try some more. Alright, so I finished Glitter. I read the prologue and the first chapter, and this is really, really good so far. Really interesting. I'm already really into this. Sounds like such a complicated, intense book. And yeah, this one's my favorite so far. Okay, so I finished the first chapter in this book, and this is really awesome so far. Really awesome. It's kind of left the chapter on kind of a cliffhanger, so I'm excited to read more out of this. Okay, and then I read the first chapter of To Capture What We Cannot Keep. So far, this is really interesting. So we've caught the main character. I believe she's kind of like a nursemaid, or not really a nursemaid, but a companion. They're on this trip, this family, and she's keeping watch over this girl named Alice, I think, who is like a young woman. And they go on this hot air balloon in Paris, and she meets this engineer named Emile, who one of the people who designed the Eiffel Tower, and they're getting ready to break ground on it. So this sounds really interesting. I love historical fiction and Paris, and yeah, this seems like it's going to be a good one too. Okay, so I've now read all of the first chapters of these books. And I can eliminate, I think, right away the Lie Tree. This one actually interested me the least from the first chapter. I do think it's going to be an interesting book, but compared to the other ones, it didn't captivate me nearly as much. So I know I'm not going to read this one next, although I do still want to read it this month. And as cute as Frog Kisser started out, it's still, I don't think, really compared to some of the other books. I think this is going to be a really cute read. I love fairy tale cute retellings like this. It kind of reminds me so far a little bit of Alethea Contis' books, the Woodcutters series. It kind of reminds me a little of that so far. So I think I am going to really like this book, but I think I'm going to hold off on it for now. So that leaves me with 3 books that really all seemed interesting to me. I've got The Edge of Everything, To Capture What We Cannot Keep, and Glitter. And I think I'm going to hold off on To Capture What We Cannot Keep for just a little bit. I think these other 2 captivated me a bit more. And now I don't know which one, because this one actually reminded me a little bit of the Lunar Chronicles of Cinder, the beginning of the Lunar Chronicles of Cinder with all the high tech, and then the fancy society trappings and the dystopian flavor. It kind of reminded me of that, and it really hooked me right away. This one left on a really big cliffhanger though after that first chapter, and I really want to know what happens next. I really don't know which one I want. They were both really good for the first chapter. I mean, like, really good. Totally captivated me. I think I'm going to go with The Edge of Everything. I think I'm going to read this one next. I think it's just because of that cliffhanger first chapter, and so far this looks really good and interesting. So yeah, I'm going to read The Edge of Everything next, and then I might move right on to Glitter, because this one really captivated me too. I think I'm going to like all 5 of these books based off of the first chapter, but yeah, Glitter and The Edge of Everything really captivated me. To Capture What We Cannot Keep really seems interesting to me too. I think I'm going to really like that, and Frog Kisser looks really cute. The Lie Tree didn't captivate me nearly as much as I hoped, but maybe I'm just not in the mood for that right now. It seemed very mysterious, which I actually really like that, but maybe I'm just not in the mood for that right this minute. So I'm going to read The Edge of Everything. That's the one that won for my Try a Chapter tag for right now, and I'm excited. I'm actually excited to read all these books, but leave me comments below if you've read any of these and what your thoughts were, or if you decide to do this tag, go ahead and leave me links below. I would love to see your videos. I hope everyone has a good day. I will talk to you later. Bye.